So a year and a half ago, Barack and I each began a journey to make history and to remake America.
This is a genocidal movement. We have an administration that will not even admit that there's a religious basis underlying.
Christians all over the world who woke up over the weekend and said, this is about us.
Pope Francis said these men were beheaded simply because they were Christians.
Thugs are the same as the Nazis, who slaughtered millions of people before and during World War II. There's no difference in the mentality, none at all. And once again, the world is standing by doing little while the ISIS menace grows, spreading all over the Middle East and North Africa. President Obama is not taking the lead. His stated 60-nation coalition is invisible, and the other nations of the world are even worse. How long are these atrocities going to continue before the world unites against these savages?
So O'Reilly last night calling ISIS modern-day Nazis. This is a day after we're told that ISIS has abducted as many as 90 Christians in northeastern Syria, including women and children. It's taking control of new territory in places like Iraq and Syria, and critics say, well, the White House is repeating history by not doing enough to stop them. Is that the case? Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters, Fox News strategic analyst. And Colonel, good morning to you. O'Reilly's talking the Nazis, others are making that comparison. You could probably go back to the mid-90s and talk about the Balkans and how that genocide began. You could talk about Rwanda in the mid-90s and how that genocide began as well. Is this the target for ISIS, or is it land they want?
No, well, they certainly would like land. They'd like the globe. They'd like the caliphate. But the immediate target are Christians, Jews, Yazidis, other minorities, but especially Christians. Because Christian civilization in that region predates Islam. I mean, it's been there for 2,000 years. Bill, the first 1,000 years of Christianity was about the greater Middle East and North Africa. Those are the cities where the thinkers were, the saints, the theologians. There were far more Christians in the Middle East back then than there were in Europe, much of which was still pagan in the far north. But what we are seeing now is an Islamist attempt to exterminate the last vestiges of Christian civilization in the Middle East. And you know, after the Holocaust of World War II, the world said never again. But Bill O'Reilly's right. It's happening again. And it is a genuine Holocaust against Christians. And Bill, these Christians are kidnapped. Our president does nothing. Christians are tortured and even crucified publicly. Our president does nothing. Christian women are kidnapped and raped again. Our president does nothing. Christians are driven from their homes in the Middle East by the hundreds of thousands, slaughtered by the tens of thousands, and our president does nothing.
To make history and to remake America.
The other question you get to when it's either Al-Qaeda or people associated is that now we get to the United States. And we have the government defining what they say is terrorism. So the government has put out some documents, one by the Bureau of Justice, to warn you of who might be a terrorist. In fact, the government has programs they want you to inform. They say, see someone, tell someone. If you see these people, you're supposed to inform on them. So some of the characteristics of people who might be terrorists, and I don't know, they don't have to be an imminent threat, so I don't know, doesn't have to be immediate, but some of these people might be terrorists. I don't know. If the president's going to kill these people, he needs to let them know. Some of the people who might be terrorists are people who are missing fingers. Some people have stains on their clothing. Some people have changed the color of their hair. Some of the people who have accumulated guns. Some people who have accumulated weatherized ammunition, which might be half the hunters in the South this time of year, or people who might like to pay in cash, or people who have 7 days of food on hand. Well, I know people just for religious reasons, they are taught to keep food on hand. In fact, government websites sometimes tell you to keep food on hand for hurricanes. If you live along the coast, one government website says keep food on hand. The other government website says, if you do, you might be a terrorist.
Does it make a difference if the president says it's Islamic extremists or what he calls whoever these people are who are cutting heads off?
It does make a difference, Greta. We have to understand who we're dealing with, and you have to deal with it accordingly. And the president is ignoring the fact that these are Islamic extremists, these are terrorists, and ISIS is a terrorist organization, and they are bent on destroying the West. They've already said they want the flag of Islam to fly over the White House. The president, his entire life, his whole influence has been Islam. His mother was married to a Muslim. His father's a Muslim. Then she married a man from Indonesia. He was raised in Indonesia, went to Islamic schools. I assume she was a Muslim. So this whole life, his experiences have been surrounded by Islam. He only knows Islam, and he's given a pass to Islam.
To make history and to remake America.
It's time that we do not provide military aid, abetting, and assistance to people that want to destroy Christians, that want to destroy Israelis, and that want to put the world in turmoil and have everyone living exactly as they dictate.
How long are these atrocities going to continue before the world unites against these savages?
If there is one thing that has distinguished the United States of America from the rest of the world, it is our unwavering belief in freedom. And if there is one thing that protects and upholds that freedom, it is the Constitution of the United States.
I mean, let's remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded.
To make history and to remake America.